Only 6 weeks after birth, doctor delivers the news. An Australian woman got the shock of her life after the birth of her first child. Eliza Kirby's first pregnancy went off without a hitch and produced a beautiful baby girl. Only shortly after the birth of her daughter, Eliza started to feel unwell. She wasn't sure what was going on and she turned everywhere for advice. She went back to her doctor, who told her exactly what was happening, and Eliza couldn't believe what the doctor told her. Eliza's story starts with her better half, her husband Ben. Eliza and Ben met in the most interesting circumstances. They hardly knew each other and neither could imagine that in a short time, not only would they be married but also have children. But the way they met is a meet cute if we ever saw one. Eliza was working at a cafe in her native Sydney when she one day happened to notice a handsome man enter the establishment. The handsome man noticed her as well, but he didn't want to make it seem so obvious, so he played it cool as he made his order. But it was this that made Eliza take note of this handsome stranger. It's hard to miss Ben's most prominent feature, which is his piercing blue eyes. Eliza immediately noticed how pretty his eyes were and became very interested in getting to know more about him. Ben was also interested in Eliza, except he first had to overcome this. Like any guy in his position, Ben was a little weary of taking the next step with a cute barista standing at the counter. They mostly had simple interactions and never progressed beyond that. But Ben knew that if he wanted to make a good impression, he had to go big or go home, which is what inspired him to do this. After a few weeks of beating around the bushes, Ben finally worked up enough courage to say more than 3 words to his crush Eliza. He stepped up and began simply with a dinner invitation, but he had no way of knowing this was going to happen. Right at the moment that Ben was going to ask Eliza out, something happened that thwarted his plans. As Eliza was working the cash register at the cafe, she had to deal with an unsatisfied customer who demanded the matter be settled right away. This took Eliza's attention away from Ben and his proposal, but when he finally got around to asking a second time, she said this. Luckily for Ben, he regained his composure and made it through asking Eliza out for a date, and she said yes. Ben knew that he had to go the extra mile to impress Eliza on the first date, so he came up with this crazy plan to win over his future bride-to-be. Ben didn't want to take Eliza out on a simple dinner date. He knew in his heart that he had to do something special for her. So he pulled out all the stops and went super romantic route of organizing a picnic right on the beach. Needless to say that Eliza was impressed by this display, but even though there was this problem between them. One thing that the couple did have was a big age difference. Eliza was only 27 when she met 38-year-old Ben. Ben was doing well career-wise while Eliza was still figuring out what she wanted to do with her life. She was carefree and a little wild, and she wasn't expecting her life to change so fast after she met Ben, which is why she was surprised when he asked her this. Only after 2 months of dating, the couple knew they'd each found their soulmate. Ben proposed to Eliza and she immediately said yes. The couple celebrated their engagement and posted their special pics all over social media, with Eliza even taking to her blog to announce their upcoming nuptials, but neither of them was prepared for what happened next. In only 3 months, Eliza found her life completely changed. She went from being a single woman working at a cafe to being a newlywed with a baby on the way. That's right, as soon as they were engaged, Eliza and Ben discovered they were pregnant, but that wasn't the only huge change that the couple was about to face. Both Eliza and Ben were taken aback by their pregnancy, but at the same time they were both overjoyed. The two were both family-oriented and wanted to have children, although they disagreed on how many. Eliza said she wanted to have as many children as she could when Ben was going full nuclear family. 2 kids, a boy and a girl, so they were happily surprised when this happened. Little Charlie was born in 2016 and the couple was over the moon to welcome young Charlie into the world. The little girl was the spitting image of her father, complete with those magnetic blue eyes and those chubby cheeks. Eliza's pregnancy with Charlie was problem-free and she didn't think that anything out of the ordinary would happen after that, but she was wrong. While the new parents were enjoying taking care of and spending time with their first child, it was only 2 months after little Charlie was born the couple got the shock of their life. While Eliza was breastfeeding Charlie, she put her faith in the old wives' tale that women can't get pregnant while nursing their children. But the couple soon found this out, which busted that myth forever. No one could believe it at first. Eliza even said that she took 4 different pregnancy tests to make sure that she wasn't pregnant, but in the back of her mind she kinda knew. What mother wouldn't know? She's even said that she woke up one morning and knew that she was pregnant because she felt like she got hit with a baseball bat. But how exactly did all this happen? Eliza's method of contraception after her first pregnancy was the fact, or far from the fact, that women cannot get pregnant when they're breastfeeding. Eliza soon found out that this was nowhere near the truth, but it took a while before the couple realized what exactly they were dealing with. The couple was so sure of the fact that they weren't pregnant so soon after Charlie's birth that they didn't believe their doctor's diagnosis. Neither did they believe the myriad of pregnancy tests that they took, which all said that Eliza wasn't pregnant until this happened. The couple was in complete denial at the possibility that Eliza could be pregnant so soon after Charlie was born, but there was no denying the physical changes that Eliza was going through, which were familiar to her since she'd already gone through them with Charlie. The couple even needed to take several pregnancy tests before one of them came back positive, but even that wasn't enough to convince them, mostly because of this. A first-time mom can become overwhelmed by all the work that goes into caring for and raising one child. Imagine what it must have been like to realize that another was on the way. Eliza has said that she struggled the first few months with Charlie and that she had to put aside her pre-pregnancy beliefs, which is a piece of advice that she got from her own mother, but she also turned to this unlikely source for strength and inspiration. Eliza turned to her other source of strength, her friends, as she was struggling to accept the fact that she might be pregnant again. Many of her other friends had children, but none of them could understand what was going on with Eliza, as neither of them had gone through what she was going through. It was during this time that this started to happen. Eliza and Ben decided it was time to see a doctor about their potential new pregnancy. They went to an OBGYN and asked him if it was possible that Eliza could be pregnant so soon after the birth of her first child. The doctor not only said yes but confirmed the fact that Eliza was indeed pregnant, but the couple still wasn't convinced. They thought the doctor was new and didn't know what he was talking about, so they did this instead. Not wanting to believe their new doctor's diagnosis for whatever reason, probably because it was too unbelievable, the couple decided to get confirmation from their first doctor, the one who delivered Charlie. When they went to see their original doctor, the couple wasn't expecting to hear that they were pregnant, but the doctor not only confirmed that they were pregnant, but also revealed this amazing fact. The couple's original doctor not only confirmed to them that Eliza was pregnant, but that she was pregnant with twins. Eliza recalls Ben's reaction, which was his face turned white. How could the couple be pregnant with twins so soon after their first daughter was born, 6 weeks to be exact? The answer was quite simple. Eliza herself had admitted that, like a lot of new moms, she didn't know a lot about being pregnant when she had Charlie. What's more, she said that she didn't even think about contraception after her daughter was born. As stated, she believed that women couldn't get pregnant while they were nursing, which she soon found out wasn't the case. But Eliza did find this out after being pregnant with twins. Just like she did with her firstborn Charlie, Eliza took to social media to track the ups and downs of being a new mom as well as a mom pregnant with twins. She openly admitted that it was tough. "I couldn't walk from the car to the house without having to stop at the halfway mark for a breather. Standing was uncomfortable, sitting was uncomfortable, laying down, that was uncomfortable, and God forbid I dropped something on the floor, it was dead to me." But she still found time to do things like this. After all the pain and struggle, Eliza and Ben welcomed 2 new additions to their brood only 3 weeks after their first daughter Charlie was born. This time the couple was blessed with 2 identical twin boys, Jack and Wolf. Even though it was tough carrying around all that baby, Eliza had a problem-free pregnancy and delivery, but there was someone else who was surprised with the new twins. Eliza and Ben weren't the only ones who were excited about bringing home Jack and Wolf. Big sister Charlie was also happy and maybe a little confused about the fact that she had 2 new dolls to play with. While all the kids got along, there were times when, according to Eliza, Charlie innocently started headbutting them in an attempt to give them a kiss, trying to poke their eyes out, sticking her grubby little fingers in their mouths. But there was another major change the couple wasn't expecting. You may not remember that Eliza and Ben got pregnant after only 3 months of dating, and when Charlie was born the twins came, so naturally the couple didn't even have time to get married. But in 2019, the couple finally tied the knot with all 3 of their kids in attendance. What was the part about Eliza's and Ben's story that you like the most? Do you think you could cope with having 3 kids within a year? Let us know what you think in the comments section below. Things quickly changed for Eliza and Ben. They got pregnant very fast and suddenly had a little family. Then they got pregnant again and had an even bigger family. But the size of their family only goes to show how much love there is in it and that they couldn't wait to make it bigger.